Hey guys, it's Rebecca, and today I'll be analyzing the popular soprano aria Mein Herr Marquis from Johann Strauss's Die Fledermaus. Die Fledermaus was one of three of Strauss's operettas that gained international success. Strauss did not particularly like being bound by prescribed texts when he was composing. However, he seemed to have a knack for it and composed 15 operettas and even a grand opera in his lifetime. He became known as a leading light in the Silver Age of Venetian operetta. Die Fledermaus was an operetta based on a French vaudeville straight play. Strauss was seen as a Venetian national symbol, and when word got out that the libretto was based on a French story, journalists said he came close to committing treason. However, when they saw the show, which was completely in German, they quite enjoyed it. It's disputed among historians about the reception of the show at its premiere. Many say it closed after only 16 performances and only received fame after its reception in Berlin. Others claim that it may have run as long as 68 shows and only closed because the theater had previously scheduled events, and that following these events, the show opened again and played for full houses. What we do know is that it premiered in the theater on de Vienne on April 5th, 1875, and eventually it was produced all over the world. It premiered in New York on November 21st, 1874, and then on the Metropolitan Opera stage on February 6th, 1905. This performance on the Met was a director's benefit to recognize a prominent member of the Met staff. The tickets for this performance were double the normal price because the Act 2 party scene in which this aria is sung, all the top stars on the Met roster were there. The Met produced Die Fledermaus again in 1950 when it was sung in an English translation. The aria Mein Herr Marquis is sung in the second act by Adele, who is a maid of Rosalind, the female lead. Adele is posing as a famous actress at a large, extravagant party. Einstein, Rosalind's husband, sees Adele in her mistress's dress and exclaims, "How much she looks like his maid." She laughs at him and sings this aria, which is often referred to as Adele's laughing song. While this aria is a jovial and somewhat silly song, it does offer some social commentary on class and views on women. Today we'll be listening to a recording of this song performed by Diana Damrau. This aria is written as a verse-chorus piece, but we're going to break it down into smaller sections. We're going to start with this first phrase. You can see that there are two small phrases followed by a larger but related phrase. You'll also notice that these phrases are made up of predominantly 1-5 chord relationships, which establishes a really strong tonic, and we have no question that the song is in G major. Let's give a listen to these phrases.
Mein Herr Marquis, ein Mann wie Sie, sollt besser das verstehen.
This pattern is repeated in a second phrase, which is almost identical musically, but just the words change. We can see the next short little bits right here, and then going on to a longer phrase. We're going to go ahead and label this as A.
Dann rate ich, ja genauer sich, die Leute anzusehen.
The next phrase, or what we're going to call the B section, has a dramatic musical change, but again has two parallel phrases. This section is more strongly based on the dominant, which creates a mood shift or a change in the mood, as you can hear here.
Die Hand ist doch wohl gar so fein, ja,
we're going to go into what I'm going to call a C section. The music gets a little bit more harmonically unstable, which adds to kind of the flair of the character, and it's also starting to foreshadow the melody of the chorus as we hear Adele starting to giggle and laugh on these long ascending runs.
Die Sprache, die ich fühle, die Treue, die Dergleichen finden sie bei einer Zofe nie. Dergleichen finden sie bei einer Zofe nie.
And then after this C section, we come to what I'm going to call a pre-chorus, which really just is building up to this exciting, rousing chorus. But if you listen here, you can hear it really is just getting us to the chorus.
Gestehen müssen sie für wahr, sehr komisch, dieser Irrtum war.
And you're just so excited to see what she's going to do next. I love that part. The chorus brings us back to a predominantly 1-5 chord relationship. And the chorus is made up into these two larger sections. The first is Adele singing alone. We can see here that there are these 3 smaller phrases which lead to the dramatic, exciting final phrase, which leads to the chorus entering with her and just kind of heightening the drama of the section. During this section, we can see that Adele is able to embellish or ornament a little bit more on her melody, since the main melody is doubled in the ensemble. The first ending for the first verse ends with Adele having this little extension, but really it's just kind of wrapping everything up to a close. Let's go ahead and listen. As you can see, there's a reason I picked this recording, because I just think she has so much fun with that. And you can notice in this recording that there is no chorus, but that the orchestra just comes in instead. But the second verse really follows the same format as the first, and so now we're going to listen to the verse as like a complete unit. Notice as we listen how smooth the transition is from one section to another. The melody really lends itself to developing a thought process for the character. It makes sense for the mood to shift often, as that's how we normally speak. The character is also very witty and cheeky, so it makes sense that she would change motives and tactics throughout the song. The end of this chorus, however, has a nice, long, dramatic coda, just so that Adele can show off a little bit over here. So listen for that as we listen to this second verse.
Wenn ich des Gesicht schon genügend spricht, so seh
as we can see, a simple verse-chorus song can have complex and exciting building blocks among it. As an actor, which anyone who sings this song must be, understanding this kind of analysis can greatly help in character development and how you would perform the piece. The music easily guides the motivation and story. Even in a foreign language, you can feel the various mocking and silly comments that Adele is making throughout just by listening to her melodic line. Music like this lasts because it's so expressive and is appealing to both patron and performer. Thanks, guys.